Nearing the end of this remake wave, with the evolved monsters being on the, well, list here. Pretty much once I get past them, then I'll give you guys 2 bonus videos, and then the survival wave is over here. So, can Goliath survive Monster Hunter? Goliath is from the game Evolve, a game that sets in the year 2030 on the planet Shear, where these 5 monsters basically, or, well, there were actually supposed to be 7 or 8 monsters that were supposed to rise up and kick these humans off their planet. However, these humans will call for their hunters, which are again from the year 2030, which are with the most advanced tech imaginable here. So today we'll be putting Goliath with all his firepower and abilities in the Hoarfrost region. And well, you might say this is actually a bit troublesome, but believe it or not, the canceled maps for the game here actually depicted an Arctic region where we would actually have gotten glacial behemoth and a lot more creatures to the environment, even a scorching hot desert. So Goliath is definitely going to be just fine in this kind of environment here. As a matter of fact, I think he would flourish in the Hoarfrost region as well as any parts of the New World. And in all honesty, this is going to count for a lot of the evolved monsters in general anyway. So with that being said here, how does Goliath do when it comes to food, resources, and everything? And obviously, this is actually going to be a different here because we can actually add all of these other monsters to the environment. And I will be giving some from the Frost Islands and Monster Hunter Rise just to kind of, honorable mention it here. So, believe it or not, I think we're pretty good here, and this is one of the few cases we can actually use Elder Dragons and Elder Dragon level monsters for the region. So, with that being said here, let's go into part 1, that being food. What can Goliath eat? Now, this is actually pretty interesting. Believe it or not, Goliath can even ingest plant matter, as there are plants that are able to, well, give Goliath back his health and stuff like that there. So, he's able to ingest these kind of plants and, well, just eat them without any repercussion. So Goliath will be able to eat things like fruits, vegetables, well, fruits, nuts, and whatever vegetables are in the region. But again, he is still chiefly a carnivore, which I definitely think would be 90% of his diet. So to start off with some of the smaller creatures that I don't think Goliath would really go for all like that, would definitely be the Cortos. Now again, they are a meal for any monster here, and pretty much a meal for Legionis in all honesty. But again, they are a meal nevertheless. Same thing with Anteca, and well, I could definitely see Goliath definitely go out his way to pounce and catch an unwary Anteca here, considering the sheer fact that creatures like Gauss Harangue actually go ahead and prey upon them here. And considering the sheer fact that they do live in groups and herds and stuff here, it would be hard to not notice them, and Goliath can simply just run them down with ease. Now, next thing we do have is the wool rug. Now, you might say, oh, well, wouldn't this be kind of like in threats and competition since it's a predator? Yeah, but here's the thing. Goliath does not care. It doesn't matter if you're a small predator or a big predator. As long as you're not one of his homies, you're good. All right, your dinner. So the wool rug, and consider the sheer fact that the wool rugs can be domesticated here. Yeah, I do see the wool rugs being eaten. The only creature I don't see being eaten in the region are the local, I guess you say Gadulacas in the region here, or those little guys that just kind of attack you with all sorts of weapons and stuff here. I see them being the only creature safe, considering they'll be able to get out of the way just in time here. So them and the Palico tribes that live there. And of course, Popo as well are also on the menu for the region. I mean, they're the most common prey animal and are preyed upon in just about everything. So I think it is safe to say here that yeah, Popo are definitely getting eaten. But let's talk about more nutritional prey. Beototus to start it off here. And I can actually see this being one of Goliath's more common prey animals here in this region. You see, Beototus are nothing more than just oversized fishes for Goliath. They might remind Goliath of the tyrants back at home. And so with that being said here, and keep in mind Goliaths are pack hunters as well here, and we are doing the whole, 10 creatures per region, or 10 creatures of the species thrown into the region here. Now, this is actually going to be pretty important because, again, pack hunting behavior is pretty common with Goliath and even the other monsters. So, putting their species in this region, or specific species in this region here, they are going to be hunting down a lot of these predators in groups, or a lot of these prey items in groups here. Viper Tobikadachi is up next here, and well, while I do love him, and while I do love this little guy, I mean, look at his face and everything, right? And while he is poisonous, that's not going to stop or deter Goliath at all here. I mean, these guys hunt down the hunters despite their weapons, right? Ambushing them, hunting them, killing them, despite even their biological warfare. But yeah, he would definitely be able to eat Viper Tobikadachi, run it down, grab it, kill it with utter ease. Now, for the honorable mentions here, he will eat Mizutsune, and he would definitely eat Somnacanth as well here. These are just, I guess you say they're definitely bigger meals as well here, because they will provide a lot of nutritional value towards Goliath. And then you have the sheer fact that they would be ideal prey. You know, they're suitable creatures here. And also any local fishes in the area. I should have said that for the smaller prey items as well. But again, any local fishes in the area, they will be eaten. And again, the sheer fact that Goliath will eat other predators is noteworthy. Lagombi, Kezu, let's see, Great Baggy, and I think I'm missing one more. I can't put my name on it. Zamtrios, yes. All of these creatures will also be prey items. The only creature I could see killing a Goliath, even a stage 3 Goliath, would definitely be a Gammoth, considering they are known to be able to fend themselves off from Devil Joes when they are healthy. And considering I do think Goliath versus Devil Joe is a pretty close fight, in my opinion, it stands to reason that a Gammoth should be able to fight him off here. But things like Zamtrios, Lagombi, and Kezu, as well as Mizutsune and Somnacanth, along with Great Baggy, any Acnosams or Great Kezus in the region, obviously would be on the menu. But let's talk about the final prey item and obviously the final big boss of the Hoarfrost region when it comes to the prey list. I definitely have to say Bombaro is on the menu. Now, Bombaro is formidable. Don't get me wrong here. I definitely think it could give a stage 2 a good fight. But a stage 3 where they can not only outmaneuver, but pull a Barioth and just grab it or just tackle it, slam it down, and likely use their fire breath to cook it. Yeah, I don't see any reason why a Bombro wouldn't be on the menu. They're not like Gammoth at all here. Only creature I could definitely see safe from the stage 3 Goliath, albeit temporarily, unless they use pack hunting behavior, is a Gammoth. And let's see, what am I thinking of? There's one more large herbivore for the Hoarfrost Reach here, but it might be a subspecies as well here. Glacial Ignactor. I know that's not a herbivore, but I was definitely thinking of it. I definitely think Glacial Ignactor will also be a food item for Goliath here, considering the very fact it can melt through its armor. And so, with that being said here, Goliath actually gets this praise score of 10 out of 10. It's able to hunt down just about anything here. And even with pack hunting behavior here, they're able to take down pretty much any creature they want. So, yeah, they get a 10 out of 10 score here. Plus, they can also ingest plant matter. And now we're on to the, let's see here, the threats and competition score. Considering the sheer fact that Goliaths do lay eggs, but again, they're not pretty, they're not picky about where they lay their eggs, so they'll definitely be safe here. And plus, they will defend their eggs as well here, so that is pretty important. And with that being said here, yeah, how does Goliath actually fare in competition? Believe it or not, I think they would have to get used to it here. You see, Goliath really didn't have any competition on Shear. You might say, oh, well, what about when they're stage 1? Yeah, but again, they're still able to prey upon those creatures. I don't think competition is something to prey upon, you know? You don't see a lot of predators eating other predators nowadays. That's usually called super predation and stuff like that there. But now, I'm going to start this off with obviously least likely to most likely. Starting off with Shrieking Legiana being the least likely. Because in the sheer fact, we know Shrieking Legiana will, eat Cortos more often than the likes of Bombaro, and it is able to snatch up Anteca and just kind of take it back to its nest. They are actually the safest creatures or safest predators from Goliath until they come down, meaning that preying upon them will be like a rare occasion. Now, Fulgor Anjanath, I definitely think is a full-blown competitor towards stage 2 Goliaths. I definitely think they're formidable enough to take down a stage 2. and again with high difficulty, simply because their electrical bite is able to cause paralysis for any animal that just gets, snapped up in them here. You have the sheer fact that they are strong enough to go toe-to-toe with the likes of Tigrex and Barioth. Yeah, I think they are a formidable predator, but not enough to keep a stage 3 Goliath at bay. Same thing with Ebony Odogaron. Ebony Odogaron is not only a, competitor, but it's also a prey item. But I'm probably just going to repeat myself here, but let me just kind of get this over with here. Every carnivore on this list will get eaten if Goliath gets his hands on him, if it kills him too. But considering the sheer fact that Odogaron, I do think, can harm a stage 3 because of its claws function. You guys have heard me say in my Lunagaron versus Odogaron video, it's a rip, pierce, and tear. Alright? Those are its more claw-like features. Its claws dig into the toughest hide of some of the monsters in Monster Hunter. Brachydios, Glavenuses, Acidic Glavenuses, even Oragons and Radabons. Able to dig in and rip them apart. However, with Goliath, being able to ingest plant matter to heal himself here, I don't think this is going to be a big issue. Now, next up, we have Gauss Harangue, obviously for the honorable mentions here. And yes, Gauss Harangue is a formidable predator. However, its weakness, like a large majority of the creatures here, are still fire. Minus the fact that Tobikadachi is weak to ice and it lives in the Arctic. I'm not sure how that works, but it is what it is here. But again, Gauss Harangue is definitely a competitor. I don't really see it going for too much of Goliath's territory, or basically they'll probably have a territorial dispute here, and if Goliath feels like hunting down Gauss Harangue, he'll do it, Next up is Blangoga, and I actually could see the likes of Blangoga and Goliath likely being, I would likely see them being more solid competitors, considering the sheer fact that not only is Blangoga intelligent, but they both could kind of plan against each other. I think it would actually be a pretty funny thing for the competitors, both of them being highly intelligent and them being able to go against each other in a more intellectual way when it comes to competing for prey. Now, next up, we do have Tidal Najarala. Now, keep in mind, I do consider Tidal Najarala the likely true apex of the Arctic here, considering the sheer fact that its armor hide is more durable than its original species member, and its original species member, or the original member of its species, the regular Najarala, armor is so tough that apparently a Devil Joe cannot bite through it, which is known for its bone-crushing bite and its acidic saliva. So yeah, I know, kind of crazy, ain't it? I do think Tidal Najarala is probably the most solid competition here. Considering the sheer fact, I do think Goliath does have a bone-crushing bite as well here. And considering the sheer fact that a Devil Joe can bite through it, I definitely think Goliath would likely give Tidal Najarala a wide berth. And I do think it would be vice versa here. Because again, still weak to fire, kinda. Next off, we have the apex of the Hoarfrost region, Barioth. And I'll even count Frostfang Barioth for this one here. I think Frostfang Barioth is a much bigger threat due to its mastery of its stealth capabilities. However, if Barioth is able to target a stage 1, it's going to be able to kill it and eat it. However, the same thing can be said vice versa. If a stage 3 gets a hold of Barioth, or even a stage 2, yeah, it's likely Barioth is going to get eaten. Next off, we have the GOAT, Tigrex. And I actually think these two would be a very interesting battle here. You see, the thing about it is, once you really start targeting Popo, yeah, that does get Tigrex's attention, as it's apparently its favorite prey item. That, and plus, it does know Popo herds will hide the likes of baby Gammas. But then again, it's also going to have to avoid the mother somehow. So, kind of a double-edged sword. But I do think Tigrex and even Brute Tigrex are definitely going to be the heaviest competitions for Goliath here. Considering the sheer fact they have the strength to go toe-to-toe with it. And the strength to, well, attack its young. So, believe it or not, I do think Goliath would definitely use some of its more long-range and versatile attacks to definitely beat down on a Tigrex before closing in and finishing it off here. But let's talk about the two big ones. We got Devil Joe and Rajang. Considering they do enter the Hoarfrost region, with the likes of Rajang actually preying upon the likes of Kirin, because again, it is, I guess you could say, suitable prey for it, and plus it just likes, so not Kieran, it preys upon Anteka, but it will prey upon Kieran as well. I think that is kind of obvious, right? And Devil Joe, the glutton, will prey upon anything. Considering the sheer fact, I do think that a stage 3 Goliath and a Devil Joe is a close fight here. I do think that it does apply to Rajang as well, considering the sheer fact that Rajang and Devil Joe are equal. Now, what about their variants? The Savage Devil Joe and the Furious Rajang, where they're both at the pinnacle of their power. I definitely think Goliath is definitely going to give those two a wide berth here and avoid them when can. Because again, they are Elder Dragon level times 2. You know, they're like it's like the Kaioken versions of themselves here. Except the thing about it is, I definitely could see Goliath understanding that Devil Joe is slowly dying because of the overloading of its body and is slowly starving itself to death here. So it's very possible Goliath may go out of its way to kill prey item and even rob Devil Joe of its prey. And considering the sheer fact that it is faster than Devil Joe, it can get away with this pretty easily. Now, next we have here is Stygian Zinogre. And again, I can see Goliath, even stage 3s, letting it just, you know, if it wants to go by, it can go by. However, if it does come to its young, it's going to have to put up a fight for it. So that's kind of how it is here. Now again, if a pack of Goliaths do jump a Stygian Zinogre, and if they're all stage 3s as well here, it's a wrap. And I can say the same thing for a Fierce Rajang and a Savage Devil Joe. It's a wrap. The coordination, the assaults, probably even the weaponry, but I'll probably talk about that a bit later. They're going to jump a Stygian Zinogre. I can even see this being the case for Velkhana as well here. Now, Velkhana is definitely the final boss here. Oh, but Runar Nergigante is also in the region. It doesn't visit it calmly enough to prey upon Velkhana. It'll likely get Velkhana when it's out of the Hoarfrost region, considering we do know Velkhana will travel outside of the Hoarfrost here. But again, at the end of the day here, yeah, Velkhana is definitely the final boss here. And I could definitely see groups of Goliath definitely trying to take down a Velkhana for a meal, and definitely succeeding because, again, their fire breath as well here. And their overall, I would have to say, equal, if not better, intelligence. But overall, I do think Velkhana can definitely kill a lot more Goliaths, to the point where I could definitely see them being like, nah, it ain't worth it, G. It's not worth the sacrifice here. So, believe it or not, I gotta give Goliath the solid competition score of 9 out of 10. You see, the only issue he would really have is Velkhana. But now this is where I actually find something interesting. Meteor Goliath is the logical evolution here, or the logical subspecies, or the logical, evolutionary subspecies for this one here. But I don't think anything needs to change here. It just gets hotter fire breath, capable of countering the likes of Velkhana. It gets better muscle mass to be able to manhandle and fight against the likes of Rajang, Savage Devil Joes, and Furious Rajangs here. Well, Rajang, Devil Joe, Stygian Zinogres is what I'm trying to say here. And, well, they actually learn how to camouflage themselves in the snow due to their blue coloration here. And in all honesty, it's kind of funny because I don't really see anything else Goliath can learn here. But here's the thing. Considering they are smart enough and are just as intelligent enough to ambush highly advanced hunters, I do think that they would likely learn to use tools and weapons. The same, I could have definitely said the same for the Kongs back in Could the Kong Species Survive Monster Hunter, and I definitely will say that they do learn how to use tools and weapons here. But considering Goliath is way smarter than Rajang and understands how the hunters work as well, I could definitely see being one of the most formidable predators for the hunters as well here, and definitely requiring groups of hunters to take it down here, and high-ranking hunters is that. Because imagine the Goliath deploying its own ambush methods, its own traps as well, it being able to lure the hunter to certain areas, and when the hunter follows it, it attacks them. Like, just kind of outsmarting and trying to outplay the hunter as well here. These guys would be menaces. And the sheer fact that they can inhabit any region as well, they would actually be labeled as the most dangerous species in Monster Hunter. But that's going to be all for today, you guys. And yes, I do think Goliath survives Monster Hunter. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.